Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important segment. Hit subscribe to this channel, join the membership, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. The link is below in the pinned comment. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Times of Israel, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. You can see my debates there as well. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment and also the description section, or no, the pinned comment, and on hagoodman.com. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two topics I'm going to discuss. Equally as important, both very important. And one is President Trump not getting indicted. They're trying to go after the executives around President Trump to have them flip. They won't do it. Specifically, his CFO. The CFO is not going to flip on Trump because the CFO knows more about New York real estate and has been in the public eye and spotlight for decades, just like Trump. Trump never had to sell his soul to make money, well, at least sell his soul in politics. He was always very good at making money. Our beloved President Biden, the Clintons, other people, Tammany Hall, from the 1800s until today, you had Democrats and also, obviously, establishment Republicans, the same people who can't stand Trump on the Republican, the never-Trumpers. What they did is they utilized politics as a money-making endeavor. Similar to the people that Jimmy Dore has completely obliterated. The two stories are actually tied together, interestingly enough. But here's an article I will leave you below. New York grand jury stores up trouble for Trump Organization executives. They said Trump worked with Putin and Russian intelligence officials in the Kremlin. They found nothing. They had egg on their face, not only when Trump defeated Clinton, but they were mortified when they found nothing. The Trump-Russia myth was the most outlandish, absurd, tinfoil hat theory that was completely not only an affront on democracy, but it was baseless. They purchased a dossier. This is right after Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign because the Democratic primary was not fair and neutral, and they cheated and railroaded Bernie Sanders. Which then links us to the Jimmy Dore story, which everyone should know. Jimmy Dore and Kwame Brown are taking on enormous political public relations establishments and completely decimating them. It's a sight to behold. It's a sight to behold. And, on a much smaller scale, they went after me, and I defended myself in an effective manner because I had truth on my side. Jimmy Dore and Kwame Brown have truth on their side. And so does Trump. So does Trump on this issue where they're trying to set him up and frame him like they did with Trump-Russia. They're not going to indict him because personally, they're going to try to get executives around him, just like they tried to get people around him with Trump-Russia. If they utilize the same standards, the same tactics against Madam Secretary, could you imagine if you utilize the same standards with all the tech people involved, all the companies involved with running her private servers, all the people involved running. So what if they had Mr. Brian Pagliano and a whole bunch of other people flip and sing? Could you imagine? So now they're trying to go after Trump's CFO, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work because they have nothing. And the fact that they're not going to indict Trump directly, or they can't find anything to indict him directly because they have his tax returns. The tax returns were supposed to be the holy grail of corruption, just like the Steele dossier, just like the call with Zelensky. Nothing ever sticks. They impeached him not on a criminal statute the first time, and even the second time. They cannot find a criminal statute to either impeach or convict Trump on. You can definitely do that with Clinton and private servers with top secret intelligence. By the way, I don't have any dislike towards Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton. I was a lifelong Democrat my whole life. What I dislike is a public official utilizing servers with top secret intelligence on them and deleting 30,000 emails and President Obama and Democrats in the media allowing this behavior, even though anyone, including FBI officials just recently, would be indicted for doing 1/1,000,000th of what was done. And then you have Hunter utilizing the most offensive word in the English language, the N-word, and of course, Democrats say nothing. You're talking about the epitome of hypocrisy, which leads us to the wonderful people, the $20 million venture capital people that Jimmy Dore has now completely annihilated. The big issue that Mr. Dore raised is the following. He talked about force the vote. And he talked about basically political action committees. Well, he alluded to, or the topic is linked to political action committees that the wonderful people at the $20 million venture capital firm or people associated with that company helped orchestrate or helped start. I'm going to leave you here an article in Fox News. And just because, if you're on the left and you're watching this, just because it's Fox News doesn't mean it's not right, okay? They're a lot more accurate than CNN and the Washington Post. A lot more accurate. But here, Ocasio-Cortez and top aide should be investigated for possible campaign finance violations. Now, who do you think helped start the political action committees that this FEC chairman, former FEC chairman Hans Avon Spakowski, who do you think helped start? Oh, that's right. People associated or people that Jimmy Dore is going after or defending himself from. These people possibly, well, I'll just read you here. The complaint to the FEC says Ocasio-Cortez and her chief of staff orchestrated an extensive off-the-books operation to make hundreds of thousands of dollars of expenditures in support of multiple candidates for federal office. There seems to be enough evidence here to justify opening a criminal investigation. As the Washington Examiner reported, AOC's chief of staff appeared to be operating a, quote, slush fund. Campaign finance attorneys called this arrangement really weird. Now, are the people that tried to go after Jimmy Dore, are they directly linked to this? I'm not saying they're directly linked to this. I'm saying there's a possibility that the biggest story in decades on the left, or at least in media, progressive or left-leaning media, is linked to millions of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, that was raised for political action committees that helped certain pundits elevate certain politicians on the left. So this is a potentially huge issue. We already know that the wonderful $20 million venture capital people, we already know that their little empire has completely collapsed. We already know they lack all credibility, but people associated with them, in addition to those people, potentially, I'm not saying they do, I'm saying it's possible they have criminal liability because of the hundreds of thousands of dollars that were raised and somehow found their way into private corporations from this Fox News article by a former Federal Election Commission chairman. If Jimmy Dore wanted to, he could completely obliterate and annihilate and decimate beyond all recognition. If he really wanted to look at how this article, AOC and top aide should be investigated for possible campaign violation, how this article not necessarily pertains to the top aide or AOC herself, but how this article pertains, interestingly enough, possibly to the people that have tried to harm Mr. Dore. Now, again, I am not accusing anyone of anything. I don't have any direct knowledge. I don't have any evidence of anything that I'm accusing anyone of. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I am saying the following. It's a public relations racket where everyone on the left says, hey, there's only two choices. Just vote Democrat. If that's the case, why talk about politics for every day for 4 years or every 2 years? Just don't talk about politics and vote Democrat no matter what. Why do you need to be a voice in politics if you're always going to vote Democrat no matter what? It doesn't matter what you say. You're either bought off or compromised. You shouldn't even talk about politics if you're always going to vote Democrat or Republican no matter what. That's what separates me and other people from the venture capital pundits, the $30,000, $40,000 a month democratic socialists or really, really wealthy socialists that will always vote Democrat. Just don't talk about politics. You're always going to vote Democrat anyway. So just work for the Democratic Party. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. This is a very important segment, and I hope Jimmy Dore watches it. Jimmy, just read this article and just if put two and two together and possibly, maybe, potentially, like James Comey says, there could be issues linked in some way, although I'm not certain, and I wouldn't say it's the case necessarily, to the people who are trying to harm you. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Everyone should read the article by Hans A. von Spakovsky below. Give me your thoughts. Thank you. Very important segment. Share this everywhere.